Are you ready for the eclipse season? Well, it starts off on Saturday, April 30th with the solar eclipse in Taurus. Conjunct Uranus, it has the power to shake up our foundations and introduce new beginnings and new opportunities. Let's take a look and break it for each rising sign. My name is Anastasia. I'm a traditional Western astrologer working with tropical zodiacal system. I do readings and I specialize in natal and relationship predictive as well as predictive astrology. If you'd like to work with me, you can book a reading at the link down below. I am currently doing a Taurus season special, so if you are a Taurus, you get 20% off natal and solar return readings. Check out the coupon codes down below. And please, if you're new here, subscribe, leave me a comment or a like. I appreciate all of your support. So this eclipse happens at 4:27 p.m. on Saturday, April 30th at 10 degrees Taurus. And if you have any placements in 10 degrees fixed signs, which would be Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius, it will affect you stronger, especially if you have your rising or your sun or your moon in any of those areas. I would say it's around like from 5 to 15 degrees of the fixed signs. Pay special attention to this eclipse. It is part of the eclipse season, right? We get a solar eclipse in Taurus, and then there's a lunar eclipse in Scorpio coming up on May 16th. Solar eclipse is a new moon on steroids. We get a new and a full moon every month, right? The sun conjoins the moon, bringing new beginnings in a specific portion of our chart. But approximately every 6 months, the sun and the moon conjoin or oppose one another, in the case of the full moon, close to the lunar nodes. And you can think of the solar eclipse in a way where usually the sun conjoins the moon and you cannot see the moon because of how bright the sun, the solar light, is. In this case, the sun and moon conjoin, but the moon blocks the light of the sun from reaching the earth. So they align, the sun, moon, and earth align in such a perfect way that you cannot see the light of the sun. So for a while, it is a partial solar eclipse, so it's not going to be a full blockage of the solar light, but you can see the shadow of the moon on the sun. And like I said, this is, the eclipses happen when the sun and the moon come close to the nodes, lunar nodes. And the nodes are not planets, they are invisible. They are points of intersection between the solar orbit around Earth, the perceived solar orbit called the ecliptic, and the lunar orbit around Earth. So whenever those 2 points, 2 paths intersect, that's where the nodes are. And it takes the nodes about a year and a half to move through a certain pair of signs, and we just started a new cycle of the Taurus Scorpio eclipses. We had a lunar eclipse in November. But lunar nodes are not, because they're invisible and because they represent this point of sudden change, right? Where you're supposed to have a bright day with a new moon and suddenly the sun goes dark. Or if it's a lunar eclipse, you're supposed to have a bright moon lighting up the night sky, and then the Earth's shadow falls on it and you cannot see the moon, or you don't see it fully. Because they represent those like dramatic changes, like literal changes in the skies. They also represent dramatic changes in our lives. And they are crossing points, right? So it's almost like a crossing point in our life where we get to choose which direction to go to. But a lot of times the decision is made for us based on karma that we have accumulated. That's why it's not recommended to set your intentions during the solar eclipse, as normally we would recommend setting intentions during a new moon. Solar eclipse is just too, there's too much already in there and the universe is making plans for you. So like I said, this is a part of a Taurus Scorpio cycle that started with the lunar eclipse in Taurus in November 19th, or even more so in January on November 19th, and more so in January 2022, when the nodes fully shifted into Taurus and Scorpio. And it's going to last, this long cycle lasts until July 2023. I made a video going into more depth and talking about each sign, about this Taurus Scorpio cycle. So definitely check it out to learn more. But to sum up, right, currently South Node is in Scorpio. South Node deals with letting things go, learning from our experiences, processing, choosing spiritual things. And North Node is in Taurus, and North Node brings material gains. It brings new resources. So in the sector of your chart that holds Scorpio, whichever house holds Scorpio, you can expect to release certain things. You can expect to face the darkness, the fears, or like the challenges. There might be challenges, or there might be things that are outdated in the sector of your chart that is Scorpio, because Scorpio classically is the sign connected with death and transformation, while Taurus, and this video is about the Taurus solar eclipse, is quite opposite. Taurus is the sector of the chart where there's new birth, there's growth springing, right? Taurus is the sign of spring. It's, May is the month when there's like lots of fruits, and flowers are blooming, birds are singing, birds are reproducing. It's kind of like the nature is at its full speed. So this eclipse has a bit of that energy, like there is new beginnings, you're birthing something new. And definitely check out this video that I made on the Taurus Scorpio eclipse. A little bit of history. Last time we had this, time the North Node was in Taurus and South Node was in Scorpio, would have been from April 14th, 2003 and into December 26, 2004. So it might be interesting to take a look back if you remember what was going on in your life. Has there been any new material beginnings? Has there been any things that you had to let go of? Look at parts of your life that deal with stability, your money, your place of living, your relationships, what was happening in those parts of your life. And if you remember things, let me know in the comments below. Some things that you can definitely expect are changes to resources like food, fuel, land, architecture. We are going through a really high inflation currently, and the prices are going up on things. So yeah, like things like food and fuel and gas prices are already pretty much affected. And so this, I mentioned that we had the same nodes in 2003, 2004. We also had them from September 12th, 84 until April 6, 1986. And historically, last time, like when the nodes were in Taurus Scorpio in 86, Coca-Cola presented new Coke. It didn't really work out for them, but there was a desire to change the food production or change their personal production of their most important, or of their drink, basically. Architecture in 2004, there was a tallest building. It was built in Taipei, which is also very much, Taurian feels like. And oil prices were at its high in 2003. So we're definitely seeing a little bit of the repeat of that. Financial industry might change, as well as your personal finances. There might be gains, there might be investments into your future. And continuing with the oil prices, last time North Node was in Taurus, the oil prices resulted in major gains for big oil corporations, and of course losses for regular people, for the little guy. We can expect creative breakthroughs, new beginnings in art, television, media. And in 2003, 2004, Apple came out with iTunes and Facebook was created. So right now, Facebook is pushing the whole Meta thing. I do not know too much about it, but there's definitely there's a desire for them to reinvent themselves or to add new things into their portfolio. So we can definitely expect on a personal level, maybe feeling more inspired, right? And finding inspiration in the everyday life, in nature, in art, going to a museum, anything like that. There might be relationship changes on the global level, but also on a personal level. In 2004, there was a first same-sex marriage registered in the US, so kind of a big deal. I think personally we'll just be choosing relationships that make us feel secure, relationships that are long-lasting and that bring stability into our life. You can expect an increase or a desire to find new sources of joy, fun, and pleasure. Taurus is a sensual, earthy sign. It wants to be pampered, right? So, funny, when I was looking at the history, the ad popped up from 1985, and it was like a beanbag chair or a bag lounger or something. And I was like, how Taurian is that? So adding things into your environment that are very much like, that bring comfort and allow you to chill on a highest level. And we can expect to focus more on our bodies, to maybe get more in touch with our bodies. Try to treat yourself with all the kindness you give to others sometimes, and maybe create some kind of ritual around taking care of your body, you know, getting regular massages or going to a spa or taking naps. Maybe you'll introduce some kind of self-care ritual into your life. On a collective level, last time in 2003, when the North Node was in Taurus, the Human Genome Project was completed, which was major for, you know, DNA research and kind of very human body oriented. So it would be interesting to see if there is any exciting developments coming up for us in creative field, in food industry, right, and in the human genome DNA kind of field. That would be cool. So overall, I think the goal with this eclipse is we're trying to rebuild, right? We've been through a couple of years that were really hard and unstable for many of us, like when you really couldn't plan things for a long time. You couldn't plan a trip because you wouldn't know if COVID restrictions would allow you to go on vacation. So this is the time when we're trying to create a new thing, a new reality, bring resources, finances, you know, mortgage, investing into property, new self-care routines in order to set ourselves up for success. And yeah, like putting the pieces together. We're learning to manifest and draw things in, maybe trust more in our ability to build the perfect reality or the reality that fits our goals. And another important topic with Taurus is the things that we value, things that we eat, and not just eat as far as food, but things that we ingest. What kind of, do you watch the news and then you cannot fall asleep, right? Do you engage into fights that leave you empty and frustrated? Do you feel happy with the way you make money? Or do you feel stressed? So topics of values are getting revisited. Obviously, the last couple of years have wiped a lot of the old. And so we're learning to proceed with care, to start within, to focus on our health, and to build new things that bring more joy into our life. As far as how to prepare for this eclipse, just spend some time alone, spend some time in nature, avoid overextending yourself. Do not set intentions. Like I said, this is not the time. Eclipses are wild cards, and they have intentions for you, so you don't really control them. And, you know, focus on things that surround you. You know, are you happy with your environment? Are you happy with the way you spend time? Are you happy with what you eat, what you read, what you listen to? Be aware that eclipses take a while to unravel. So you may feel the results of the eclipse a couple of weeks before, a couple of weeks after, but ultimately it's a part of a longer 1.5-year cycle. So the seeds that you're planting now may not blossom until July next year, or you may not see the results until October, November this year when we get a lunar eclipse in Taurus. Venus is conjoining Jupiter the same day, and it is very hopeful and promising because Venus rules this eclipse. Venus rules Taurus, and she is conjoining Jupiter. So the goal for a lot of us is expansion and growth and pursuing new things that make us happy and excited. So let's take a look at every sign and see what you might expect. For Aries rising, the solar eclipse is happening in the 2nd house with Venus and Jupiter conjoining in the 12th house. You may see new opportunities to increase your income, to bring, maybe there's a second job, maybe you're getting out of debt, maybe you're paying off a loan, or you're paying off your taxes and you're feeling kind of more free. There's also a possibility of investing money into something, spending money on something important to you. Venus, Jupiter conjoining in the 12th house might mean that you may be sending money or spending money on some kind of charity or volunteer work. Maybe people who are in a different place than you are, because 12th house is people that are isolated, that aren't seen. So yeah, like either donating money to charity or helping people that are less fortunate than you, I see as a possibility here. But it's very much about your personal resources and about your personal confidence. So there might be a need to readjust certain things when it comes to your job. Are you happy with the income that you have? Or if you aren't happy, maybe it's time to let it go. There might be things that are happening suddenly, right? Like maybe you get laid off, or maybe you get a business opportunity that you just cannot pass on. So definitely exciting financial opportunities and an increase in your confidence. You may have been working on purging and letting things go for a while, and the solar eclipse in the 2nd house can totally create a positive boost in self-worth and in your inner peace. Likely because you're doing something for other people, possibly because, you know, that Aries ascendant, Libra descendant axis can be very much about other people and caring for other people. You may be taking care of your finances too, and starting a bank account or starting a savings account, maybe investing into your IRA, maybe you're contacting a new financial advisor. Definitely look for changes in your finances and take a look at 2003, 2004. What was happening with your resources then? Let me know in the comments below. For Taurus rising, this is of course a big deal because you get a solar eclipse in your 1st house with Venus conjoining Jupiter in the 11th. You are embarking on a major new chapter in your life. You are embodying figure that is very mature, very solid, very grown up, and possibly starting new projects that deal with 11th house matters. So projects that deal with social media, projects that deal with starting a business, having a lot of clients, getting in touch with a lot of people, like starting a podcast, for example. Even volunteer work, even doing work that helps others somehow, some kind of charity could be part of that, because it's you as a leader, but Venus is in the house of groups. So your work is very much focused on finding a place in the group. You may be changing your appearance, your job, your daily life. Things might be the time to upgrade the way you look or the way you present yourself. If you have a business, this might be the time where you rebrand, right, and come up with a new logo, for example. Taking care of your health and committing to taking better care of your health is a possibility here for sure, like creating, I don't know, starting to work out, taking on boxing classes, going to the doctor, changing your diet. There's definitely possibilities there. I think just lead with what makes you happy and what has made you happy. And if it ties in with bettering the lives of others, even better. Take a look at what was happening in your life in 2003 and 2004 when we had the solar and lunar eclipses. Solar eclipses, basically the North Node would have been in Taurus. So it would be the similar energy to what is happening right now. to see what kind of themes might come back. And let me know in the comments below if you know what it is. For Gemini rising, this eclipse occurs in the 12th house with Venus conjoining Jupiter in the 10th. So Venus-Jupiter conjunction is asking you to expand your reach professionally. It's asking you to pursue things that are creative, that deal with other people, that are maybe educational, and things that are likely pushing you outside of your comfort zone. And this solar eclipse happening in the 12th house feels very much like addressing all the ways in which you may be sabotaging yourself or holding yourself back, releasing fears related to your work. Like, what is holding you back? Most likely it's you yourself. Of course, 12th house also deals with birthing pains, right? So sometimes this eclipse can be a bit more complicated for Gemini risings and possibly for Sag risings too, because 12th house is your mental health. It's your past and your traumas and the difficulties that you've experienced that you really likely had no control over, like let's say a health issue or a parent passing away. So you may need to look back at some of that and maybe process it, even though it's a new moon solar eclipse, right? New beginnings, but it's likely that you will get a chance to look back. Dealing with things that are out of your control, that are teaching you to adapt and be more flexible is a possibility, like planning a trip and getting sick and being unable to travel, for example. Doing volunteer work, also very much. 12th house is people who are isolated, people who are forgotten. So for Gemini risings, there might be a desire to give back somehow. And I think like a lot of shadow work, great time for therapy, great time for connecting with yourself, spending time outside, meditating, journaling, talking to a friend or a therapist could be quite enjoyable. Listen to your intuition and take breaks. Don't overexert yourself. Take a couple of days to maybe have a lower, less busy of a schedule. For Cancer risings, the eclipse is happening in the 11th house with Venus conjoining Jupiter in the 9th. Cancer risings are likely going to see changes to their social network. Maybe you are looking for a sense of belonging and you're joining a new group. You know, my Cancer rising friend has been hanging out with her kids' friends a lot. So there's changes to her social networks. It's funny, like playground is the social hub for them, for people with toddlers. So you can see, you can see new beginnings to your social network. Maybe they're connected to education, like you are taking classes and you're befriending some of your classmates. Maybe they're connected to moving. You may have moved or you're going somewhere foreign soon, and that will bring, that will redefine who your community is. I think you're taking action. It's perhaps like a very active time for you to find a sense of belonging, or maybe to establish yourself in a group setting. It could be professionally, it could be in school, could be in your friend group, like you're trying to become some kind of teacher, mentor, or just express yourself in a more visible level, I think, in a visible way. There might be a chance for you to travel with friends or start a new project that you're satisfying your ambitions a lot, I think, here for Cancer risings, because 11th house deals with your fans and your network and the way people see and perceive you. So this is very much about finding new beginnings and finding and expressing yourself in a way that makes you feel respected and happy. Volunteer work or social work is a possibility here, and doing something that helps other people, that connects you with other people by being a protector, provider is possible too. Take a look at 2003, 2004, what was happening in your life at that time, what was happening with your friendships, what was happening in the social environment around you, and let me know in the comments below. For Leo rising, this is a big deal. Leo risings get the solar eclipse in the house of career. and it's conjoining Uranus, so there might be sudden changes, sudden new beginnings happening in your professional life, opportunities coming your way. Venus is the ruler conjoining Jupiter in the 8th house of shared resources, other people's resources. So there might be professional new beginnings that are given to you, or your partner offers you to start a business together, or someone has a contact of the other person who knows the other person that you know. So lean into working with other people, look around yourself, see how you can mutually benefit from the connections that you have. You may experience a change in your goals, right? If, let's say, your work is not appreciating you, suddenly you decide that you're going to start your own Instagram page and you're going to try to express yourself. You don't need their approval. You can make your own opportunities. You can create your own opportunities. So yeah, like, don't hesitate to birth and bring forth your own opportunities, but definitely ask people in your life for help. There might be time for a raise, promotion, recognition of some sorts, something that perhaps comes suddenly and unexpected to you. Getting a loan to start a business, or getting a loan to make a movie if you are in film or TV industry is a possibility. And of course, there might be changes also happening at your job that affect you somehow, like you move offices, or your office relocates, or you get sent to another country. So there's possibilities there too. For Virgo risings, we're going to the 9th house. So there might be new beginnings connected to education, travel, legal, and publishing matters. Well, Venus conjoins Jupiter in the 7th house. So you are partnering up with others. There might be new opportunities coming from your significant other, from a friend, from a business partner. And these opportunities may involve education. So maybe you're starting a course together with someone, or you're taking classes with your partner, or you may be also going on a trip with your partner. Overall, this cycle for you, Virgo risings, deals with expanding your world. And the expansion could be mental, right? Like, you're learning new things. You may be discovering a new religion. There might be a sense of like questioning what you believe in and finding answers in a spiritual tradition. I'm a big fan of Buddhism, so if you were interested in taking on a different religion, check out Buddhism, for example. But yeah, it could be mental expansion, or it could be physical expansion. Some Virgo risings can move or go on a trip or go abroad to maybe study abroad. There might be, you may meet people who are very inspirational and kind of like teacher archetypes. There might be certain legal matters that you either get involved in, or maybe you're completing at this time. Matters especially surrounding like visas and immigration status can be coming full circle, or maybe starting in your life. I became a US citizen when I was going through this cycle last year. So, and for me, it also was the time when I started teaching. So definitely you're taking on more, and you're also becoming more willing to share your knowledge with other people, or more willing to go out there and gain more knowledge. For Libra risings, this eclipse is happening in the 8th house with Venus conjoining Jupiter in the 6th. I see business collaborations. I see a lot of possibly professional collaborations for Libra risings, gifts and opportunities coming from other people, because 8th house is all the things that other people are willing to give us. So it may be, quite internal, with like you learning to trust other people and letting other people into your life and embracing their support. While in the past, yes, you are a Libra rising, very relationship oriented, but at the same time your descendant is Aries, so you may enjoy working on your own. And here for the next year and a half, you're likely to look at what working with other people have to offer, and how can you maybe create more balance in the relationships with other people. There might be certain agreements and contracts you're signing, debts that you're paying off, or debts that you're taking on. A Libra rising client recently told me that she is buying her first home. So very much so getting in debt, right? Taking on a big debt or spending a lot of money on something that is important to you. So you can expect big investments, and you can also expect to commit to your health a lot more, to commit to your mental health, because 8th house deals with fears and insecurities and things that are kind of like sudden and psychological in our life. So solar eclipse here could also be a great time for therapy and for reconnecting with your mental health. For Scorpio risings, this eclipse is all about relationships. It happens in your 7th house, the place that deals with marriage and business relationships. Take a look back at November 19th, 2021, when we had a lunar eclipse in Taurus. What was happening in your love life? Have you started dating someone? Have you completed a relationship? What kind of changes were happening? What were your desires in relationships? Maybe you started a business collaboration. Definitely take a look and know that this is also part of a really long cycle that's going to last until July 2023. So you can expect major new beginnings in your love life. This could mean meeting the person that you will end up marrying, or this could mean moving in with them or having a child with your existing partner. Business opportunities are likely, meeting people who can give you something professionally, for sure. You are likely feeling excited about new beginnings because Venus is conjoining Jupiter in your house of fun and romance and creativity. So good times are in store for you, I think. Scorpio risings, for sure. There might also be changes in the life of your partner. Maybe they're going through major new beginnings and moving away, or, you know, getting a chance to start a new job that might affect your relationship. So definitely could be the time when your partner undergoes some kind of, maybe they also get a chance to be more mature, because ultimately whatever relationship you are attracting right now is a committed relationship. It's a serious relationship that's going to last a long time, because that's what Taurus wants ultimately. Taurus wants loyalty and stability. So look at people in your life right now and see whether they match what you're looking for. Sometimes solar eclipse in the 7th house might mean separating from an existing partner, but if you do, it is likely that this is for your own good and will make you feel more secure, because it is ruled by Venus conjoining Jupiter. Venus is strong, Jupiter is strong. So whatever happens in your love life will bring you more joy. And let me know how it's showing up for you. Take a look at 2003, 2004, when North Node was in Taurus. If you remember what was happening in your life at that time, you can definitely see a repeat of that. For Sagittarius rising, this eclipse happens in the 6th house, while Venus conjoins Jupiter in the 4th. Your schedule might be changing. Your daily life might be undergoing a change, because something possibly is happening in your home. Maybe you're moving and you now need to figure out where to do laundry and how to pay your bills, or where the post office is. So some kind of changes in the sector of problem solving, service, connected to family and home, right? So maybe you're renovating a home and there's a lot of action there. With the eclipse in the 6th house, it's likely you're committing to something that will require a lot of time. Like you're putting your energy, your effort, your money into things that will take a lot of you, but likely will make you feel accomplished. So it could be, it could be home matters, right? Like I said, renovating a home. It could be moving to a new place. It could deal with a family member needing your help and you're taking on the role of their caretaker, for example. There might be new beginnings at work, because 6th house deals with your daily routine kind of work, and maybe you're bringing new resources there, or you're initiating something, you're taking action and becoming and and just finding more joy in your professional environment, possibly even letting go of something that doesn't satisfy you in order to bring more joy. And changes to your health are also quite likely. You might commit to working out regularly, eating healthier. Venus and Jupiter in the 4th and Jupiter going into your 5th could also read very much as getting pregnant or your family expanding, and then perhaps your health is changing with it too, where you're starting to take better care of your health because you're now carrying a child. Take a look at 2003, 2004, when North Node was last in Taurus, and see if anything interesting was happening in your life. You may see similar themes right now. For Capricorn rising, this eclipse is happening in the 5th house, while Venus conjoins Jupiter in the 3rd. You're birthing something. You're birthing a literal child, or you're birthing a creative project. Doesn't have to be both, can be one or the other. I know people feel sensitive sometimes when I predict pregnancy. They're like, no, I don't claim it. Don't give me pregnancy. But basically, 5th house is the place of joy and all the activities that bring you joy. And babies aren't there because making babies is joyful for the most part, right? So creative new beginnings, for sure. Writing something, because Venus conjoins Jupiter in the house of writing, technology, blogging. So maybe you're starting a creative project that is expressing your unique voice, because that's what Venus, Jupiter in the 3rd ultimately is about. It's about communication, speaking your mind, expressing yourself honestly, truthfully, authentically. Finding inspiration in nature, finding inspiration in your childhood, finding inspiration in all the things that put a smile on your face. Changes around the topics of children. If you have kids, maybe your kid goes to kindergarten. Maybe you hire a nanny and now you are putting some separation between yourself and your child, and it might be tough for you. Maybe you get pregnant, maybe you give birth. So definitely see for changes related to children. And of course, you know, like I said, a child could be a creative baby. New relationships are possible here too, because you are seeking joy, and romance a lot of times brings joy. So I can also see someone exciting, but also loyal and stable coming into your life, and, you know, perhaps you building something long lasting. And it could be a creative partner or a relationship, romantic partner. For Aqua risings, there is an eclipse in the 4th house, while Venus conjoins Jupiter in the 2nd house. So there's new beginnings in your home and family, and they may cost you some money, or they may bring you money. Maybe you are investing into your home. Maybe you're buying a home, selling, moving, renovating, some kind of major change and birth of comfort. Like, you know, if you recently moved and you've been living on someone's couch, this could be the time when you actually invest into stability and bring more stability into your everyday life. Relationship with a family member can get a new start, and maybe you are reconnecting with your mother. Maybe your mother is moving in with you, or you're just spending more time with them. Maybe going out to family gatherings more. And even, you know, if you're not close with your family, if you're not in touch with them, this might also be the time where you embrace other people into your family, or maybe you adopt a child, maybe you expand your family somehow. And 4th house deals with more spiritual things and your sense of comfort and stability. So there's also a possibility that with this new moon in Taurus, in your house of home and family, you're just bringing more green stuff into your home, or you're planting plants, planting flowers, adding flowers into your home, surrounding yourself with books that you like. There's just some kind of sense of wanting to enjoy your familial environment a lot more, as well as, you know, literal new beginnings in the lives of your parents or in the lives of your family members, and maybe new beginnings connected to your place of living. For Pisces rising, this eclipse occurs in the 3rd house, while Venus conjoins Jupiter in the 1st. There's new beginnings in your schedule. Your schedule is likely changing. Perhaps you got a new job and now things are different and you have to readjust. There's an increase in communications, likely. Once again, maybe you became a teacher, you took a job on teaching, and now you're going to be speaking every day, and you need to make sure you like smooth your voice canals and you're like ready for it. There might be more phone calls, more emails to send, more people to chit chat, more action in your local environment, deeper connection with siblings, spending more time with siblings, neighbors, sibling-like figures, for sure. Changes to technology, or changes, like buying a new computer, getting a new car, are all possibilities here. Even, I mentioned connecting with siblings, but there might also be new beginnings in the lives of your siblings. Maybe they are starting a new relationship, or they're adopting a child and you're becoming an uncle or an aunt. So there are things there. And third house deals with communication, but it's also the place of the mind. It's the place of teaching, learning, writing, speaking. So it's also possible that you will get to do more of that, be that through a personal project or through the changes in your professional environment. And finally, third house is the place of short trips. So there's a chance that you may be embarking on a new journey that will ask you to travel more. We would have had the same nodal nodes would have been North Node in Taurus, South Node in Scorpio in 2003, 2004. Take a look at how your schedule has changed at that time, what was happening in your life, and let me know in the comments below. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Have a safe eclipse season. Ready or not, it's here and it's going to be glorious as long as we stay patient and self-loving. Talk soon. Bye.